Welcome to another episode of The Collective. I am your co-host, Zack Mo.
And I'm Collector.
So, Collector, how was your weekend collecting?
My weekend collecting was pretty interesting this week. There's been a lot of movement and shifts and changes happening in the market for the last few weeks. So I'm trying to fill any gaps that I still have in my sealed collection. Um, I stocked up pretty heavy on Sun and Moon, so I have a lot of Sun and Moon stuff coming. Um, Cosmic Eclipse, big mover right now. Unbroken Bonds, big mover right now. Unified Minds. What else did I buy? On Celestial Storm, Team Up. Team Up is
What's the cheapest
explosive.
one of those packs?
They're all about they're all 20 plus, basically. Celestial Storm maybe is the cheapest.
All right, I'll get a Pokemon pack. A McDonald's pack.
McDonald's pack. So I stocked up a lot on that. My Sword and Shield stuff is relatively full. I'm still buying Sword and Shield every time I find a pretty good deal on it. I also bought a bunch of like tins and collection boxes that I didn't have in my sealed collection. I've been buying this stuff. I feel like we're at last call for Sword and Shield for the next like month or two. This is like the time for the Sword and Shield era to get stuff for a reasonable price and just bubble wrap it, toss it in a box, forget it exists, and come back to it in a few years.
I wouldn't toss it in a box.
Place it in your sealed collection.
There you go.
I mean, if you have a display, obviously these things look great on display. But if you don't, what I always do is, like for tins, for example, a lot of tins have various different packs in them. So what I'll do is I'll write down what packs are in the tins, which I always check the tins first because sometimes tins will get released 3, 4, 5 different times with 3 or 4 or 5 different varieties of packs in them. So I'll get a case, I'll open half the case, take out the packs, and then I know for sure what's in the tins. If I'm opening the case at all. Sometimes I'll just seal full cases, but if I'm opening the case, I'll take some out for stream, sell the packs, whatever I need to do, and then I'll wrap up the tins and I'll write exactly what's in them, put bubble wrap on it, and just forget they exist. Stick them in a box somewhere, and it's really fun. Like I found a Porygon Z box that's from like, I don't know, 2019, 2020. So
Does
I have one of those.
Porygon evolve into Porygon Z first or Porygon 2? I always forget.
I think it's 2. I also don't know, but I'm almost certain that it's Porygon, Porygon 2, and Porygon Z. Somebody will be able to tell us in the comments what the actual answer to that is, but that's what I remember.
So you said the market has changed again?
Shifted as always, the market's always constantly shifting and moving. So for this week in collecting, like what I'm trying to do is kind of stay a little bit more in tune with the singles market. I'm pretty far removed from the singles market.
But you are married.
That was pretty clever.
Thank you.
So I
Zack
focus
Martin,
on.
how you doing?
He's single from what I heard. Maybe not. Are you single? No, he's not single anymore. All right. Well, off the market. Maybe.
It's complicated.
Oh, put it on Facebook. It's complicated.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook official complicated.
So I'm trying to keep like a finger on the pulse of singles. Singles oftentimes will be reflected in the price of sealed product. We've talked about that before, right? Like with Evolving Skies, when we saw this boom in Evolving Skies recently, it was Umbreon takes off, sealed product increases. All right, well, there's less sealed product available, so Umbreon becomes more expensive, and it was just kind of a self-fulfilling hype cycle for a month or however long that lasted. And then everything cooled off, and the Umbreon dropped quite a bit. Still very, very expensive, but it dropped quite a bit from its all-time high, maybe 10 or 15%. And the booster box also cooled off a little bit, probably dropped like 5% off its all-time high. And eventually it'll all go back up. All the sealed always goes back up. But the prices of sealed products can oftentimes be commanded by what cards are in the sets. So trying to stay in touch with that is important for me. I ripped a bunch of Night Wanderer as well. Now, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I definitely talked about it on stream, and I talked about it in my Discord server. I was not excited for Night Wanderer at all.
Oh no, you
Like
talked about it on the stream, I believe.
I thought the set looked terrible. I had no interest in, the cards that were in the set, and I thought it just wasn't going to be a fun set at all. And I actually waited, which is the first time I've ever done that. I waited a few weeks to get it after release. Once we started opening that set, I had a blast. The cards are awesome. The Duskull line is amazing. I'm thrilled. So after stream on Sunday, I packed up all the orders, and it was like still kind of early. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And I was like, let me do this PSA submission real quick. So I did the PSA submission for the week. And then I was like, oh, it's only 2:30 in the morning. And I like looked over and I had a couple boxes of Night Wanderer left. And I was like, why not? So I just ripped a bunch of Night Wanderer for myself.
You opened all the boxes?
No, there's only a few left. I think I had like 4 left. I opened 2.
Okay.
So I opened whatever. Yeah, I think I just opened 2 boxes of that. I opened a bunch of stuff. I opened a bunch of Crown Zenith too. Sunday nights are like my time to just be a total degenerate and just open a whole bunch of your guys' inventory. So
really
whenever
nice
whenever you come back to the stream and you're like, what happened to, I probably opened it on Sunday night. So I opened a bunch of Crown Zenith, pulled a couple nice Galarian galleries, and then I wasn't quite satisfied. So I opened some Night Wanderer. I pulled the whole Duskull line. I was super stoked. I pulled the Horsey, which I think you're taking.
That I am.
It was fun. It was super fun. So anyway, that was a long-winded answer to my week in collecting, but it was fun. I had a good week in collecting.
So Katie was born in Africa.
Okay.
And her parents, I think, taught English over there. I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe she wasn't born in Africa, but she grew up in Africa. And then she was homeschooled up until high school. And then her parents moved back to the States. And so then she went to high school where she met Janice Ian and the other fellow whose name is escaping me right now, and I'm very upset with myself. And they sort of brought her in and was like, hey, we're cool. Don't talk to those bitches. Those are the plastics. It's Regina George and Gretchen Wieners. Do you realize what I'm doing yet?
Yeah, you're talking about Mean Girls. I'm wondering how we got to Mean Girls.
There was no. Hey, listen, I can tell you the whole story.
I was like, did I miss the transition to Mean Girls? How did we?
Oh, there was no transition
here. It just went straight into Mean Girls.
It absolutely did.
All right. Well, yeah. Good old Regina. So anyway, back to collection stuff. I wanted to talk a little bit about the market shifts. I think it's important to I don't know, to kind of briefly go over what's been going on in the market these last few months. It's been extremely tumultuous. And then like you and I spoke about, maybe every week I'll spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes just covering what's going on in the market. But this week, since it's the first time we're doing it, I just want to kind of talk about what I've been seeing in the market, what a lot of people are talking about in the market, and just shed a little bit of light onto, what I think is happening. So we're seeing tons of moves in the Scarlet Violet era. Everybody for the last 6 sets has been saying Scarlet Violet's dog water. Nobody wants this set. These sets are trash. They're never going to be valuable. And that's just simply not true. It's just not. I mean, it's just not true. We have several sets with cards that are worth several $100s. We have sets booster boxes starting to increase in price, which is faster than what we saw in the Sword and Shield era.
I noticed today that that Greninja
$200+.
Oh, when I looked this morning, it was $188.
Okay, so it's whatever, close to $200.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, close to $200.
188. I mean, that's insane. Was it? I'm assuming a near mint copy and maybe plus $4 or $5 to ship it.
Probably. I mean, yeah, it was raw, a raw copy.
Right. Roughly $200 card. Unbelievable. Yeah. Coming out of a Scarlet Violet era set that's brand new.
Right.
And we're gonna see. So Scarlet Violet is weird. It's something that we're not really used to as far as what's happening with the singles. Generally speaking, when a set comes out, the first 7 days the set is out, that is the most expensive the cards are until way, way, way in the future. With Scarlet Violet, we're seeing a ton of oscillation. We're seeing, cards are getting bought out, so they're spiking up in price. Like some of the art rares that happened with Ghastly, that's happening most recently with Groudon. And then, the buyout stops and people start selling off to take in their gains, and the card drops in price a little bit. And so we're seeing a lot of strange things happening in the Scarlet Violet era that we're not used to. But ultimately, the point is with Scarlet and Violet, it's not dog water, right? These sets are super fun to rip. Whether you like the Pokemon or not, like we're warming up to them. It's taking a while, but it's getting more and more normal for us to see these Pokemon in sets. When we first started ripping Scarlet Violet, it was like, what? Like, a lot of people were like, what is this? What is that? Why does that Raikou look that way? Right? Like, people don't know what Raging Bolt is. But as the sets mature
I
a little
still
bit,
think to myself, why the hell does Raikou? That's right, I said Raikou look that way.
look, I'm not a huge fan of the art, the design of Raging Bolt, but the market is starting to accept these Pokemon a little bit more handily than they were when they first came out. The
That's
only
good.
set that we're not seeing any real movement on is Obsidian Flames, and I will bet here on the podcast that the Ninetales from Obsidian Flames will triple in price in the next, I don't know, 6 months.
What is it now? Like $5?
It's like probably 10. I don't know exactly, but it's
So
probably
you
right
think it'll
around
be
10.
30?
It'll be a $30 card. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No question about it.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just wish it was like a 300% markup. That isn't.
Well, so the art rares really, based on the pull rates, I don't think any art rare should really ever cost more than $100, just based on how many are in existence. I think the PSA 10 versions of art rares can command a much higher price because they are extremely tough to grade. I've graded many, and a lot of them come back nines. But I think generally speaking, art rares we'll see a market cap on art rares during the Scarlet Violet era of probably around $100. Like the Magikarp is a touch high right now. Like being over $100 for a single is crazy for an art rare. For an SIR, maybe because the pull rates are tougher. On a big set, it would make
But
sense.
that Magikarp is not really hard to pull.
It's not any harder than any other art rare. The pull rates are the same for all art rares.
It's
so
just
every
okay.
single
I
art
thought it
rare
was a harder card to pull.
No, so the reason Paldea is so tough, or the reason Magikarp is so tough, is because Paldea has so many art rares. There's maybe 30 art rares. I don't know the exact number. I could look it up, but there's a lot of art rares in the set, right? Let's just say 20 art rares for the sake of argument. Let's say there's 20 art rares in the set. Your odds of pulling an art rare, I don't know them off the top. I should have looked this stuff up, but like let's say it's 1 in 100 packs you pull an art rare. But it's 1 in 100 to the 20th power because you're trying to pull one specific art rare, which makes it very difficult to pull specifically the Magikarp. Easy to pull an art rare, difficult to pull a specific art rare, which is why you'll see people like chasing towards the end of sets, and they open pack after pack after pack trying to find like a nonsense card, right? Like you get Crown Zenith and you're trying to find like one Galarian Gallery. It's a $15 card, and it's just very difficult to pull because the Galarian Gallery is so large, right?
Just
Darkrai V-Star, not well, yeah, you could just buy the single, but some people like to open the set the whole way. So that's like Scarlet Violet market. What's going on? Very, very strange market right now, but we're seeing all Paradox, all Temporal. We're seeing these sets starting to increase in price. The singles, the booster boxes are still stable. Paldea has gone up. There's rumors. This is full disclaimer. This is not me trying to create FOMO, trying to stir the market for the very few people who are tuning in here.
Everybody buy everything.
There are rumors that there will not be reprints on these booster boxes. So from my distribution connections, and I don't believe them, I think they are trying to create FOMO and make us buy, but it is possible. There are rumors that we will no longer get prints on Scarlet Violet, Paldea, Temporal, Paradox, Obsidian. They're not getting reprinted, is what I heard. Now, I don't believe that. That would go against everything that's ever happened in the history of Pokemon. We always get reprints of sets, but we have heard from the very beginning of Scarlet and Violet that they're going to reduce the print runs. They're going to make smaller print runs because Sword and Shield was printed extremely heavily. So they said from the start, we're going to do smaller print runs. So we'll see what happens. I am confident we're going to get reprints, but I was told through several distribution change that they stopped printing and stopped production on those sets. So we'll see what happens. I think certain products will be very scarce, and we'll still have an abundance of like elite trainer boxes. The sets will still be readily available. So that's Scarlet Violet. Sword and Shield is insane at the moment. We're at the very end of the Sword and Shield availability, like I just talked about. We have a month or two left of finding Sword and Shield in the wild, other than like random products that they just printed too much of or that wasn't very popular. It's really becoming a struggle to find Sword and Shield out in the wild, especially the good sets. So now's a great time if you're a sealed collector to start buying Sword and Shield products when you see them at MSRP. Like you don't even have to try to go find a good deal. If you find a collection box that you don't have, like a premium collection box that you don't have, and you're a sealed collector, great time to buy it. Same thing with any booster box. If you can find any booster boxes from Sword and Shield at MSRP, buy them. Like, save for maybe Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest is the only one that's still available on Pokemon Center.
For those don't know, MSRP is manufacturer suggested retail price.
Right. And so Pokemon suggests a retail price on booster boxes in the Sword and Shield era. I think it was $141.50 or something like that. In the Scarlet Violet era, the MSRP on boxes is $161.94. So that's what
the limit does not exist.
What do you mean?
Go on.
Okay. So MSRP on Scarlet Violet is crazy, $161.94, which makes it harder for people who sell Pokemon product to live. But anyway, we're at the end of the era for Sword and Shield. It's time to buy. When you see it, buy it. Even if you don't think it's a really strong set and you can get your hands on some sealed product like elite trainer boxes, booster boxes, buy. Scarcity of product and lack of inventory of a product is what makes the price go up. If you look at all the Sword and Shield booster boxes right now, what's the most expensive one? You know this, I'm sure.
All Sword and Shield, evolving.
Correct. What do you think the second most expensive one is?
Chilling.
Not even close.
Tempest.
Also not even close. Well, Tempest is one of the
Crown
cheapest.
Zenith.
Right now. No, Zenith didn't have booster boxes. You're never going to guess it because the answer doesn't make sense to a collector. The most expensive set in the Sword and Shield era, other than Evolving Skies, when it comes to a sealed booster box, is Sword and Shield base set. They are just shy of $400 a booster box market price right now. Last sold on TCG Player was $389. And the person who bought that then paid shipping and tax on that. So the person who bought it paid over $400 for it. And the reason that is because that set wasn't printed very much. Nobody wanted it and nobody saved it, right? Like it's hard to find. It's a very scarce product. So it's not always like the biggest and best products that you have to find. Like Lost Origin, right? Has a Giratina. Oh my gosh, Lost Origin is going to be worth so much money in the future. Well, yeah, it's going to go up in the future, but they also printed a lot of Lost Origin. So Sword and Shield base set is $400 for a booster box. That's crazy because that set is terrible. It has my favorite trainer, Marnie, the full art Marnie. She's worth like $30 for all. Yeah. It has the Rainbow Snorlax, which is worth like $50. It just barely surpassed the Marnie recently. And both
Definitely
of those
just woke up my mom.
Both of those graded are worth like $100, right? So like there's very little that you can pull out of that box that's going to make you money back on a $400 box. You're guaranteed, for the most part, unless you pulled hyper rare Snorlax, Marnie, regular Snorlax, and then like all the other most expensive cards in the box, and then you graded them all and they all got 10s, maybe you would break even on a $400 box.
That's a sealed box. You keep that sealed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of boxes that are like that, though. Steam Siege is the same way. The most expensive card in Steam Siege is the Secret Rare Gardevoir. Beautiful card. I personally think underpriced, but the market says it's worth like $35, right? Most beautiful Gardevoir, $400.
Right, so it's a sealed collecting box.
So a booster box of Steam Siege is $400. The most expensive card is Gardevoir, and then the next two are like just over $10, and then every other card in the set is worth under $10. So if you pull the top 3 hits in the set in one booster box, you've got $50 worth of singles out of a $400 booster box.
Hey, that's a good steal if you ask me.
The reason I'm bringing it up, right? Like Sword and Shield now is a great time to buy. As the stuff becomes more and more scarce, as people like me rip thousands of packs of this product every single day on streams for YouTube entertainment at their houses, as these products get open more and more and more and more, the price will continue to go up. So even if you're not a sealed collector, but let's just say you love Lost Origin, right? Or even an even better example, let's say you love Silver Tempest. You love opening Silver Tempest, you haven't completed the set. Let's just say you're a person who loves opening Silver Tempest, right? Now would be a great time to buy as many Silver Tempest ETBs as you find out in the wild at stores. Or you could still get them for under MSRP. Like I sell them under MSRP. Tons of places online sell them under MSRP. And just wait until you're like, I want to open Silver Tempest. And then you have whatever, 10 ETBs at your house that you've purchased, or 5, or however many you can afford to just keep at your house. Because in 2 years, those ETBs, Silver Tempest is not going to be the price it is today. So that's what's going on with Sword and Shield. Sun and Moon is picking up steam again because Sword and Shield cooled off a little bit. So there's this unidentified amount of money that exists in the Pokemon market that just changes hands constantly, right? It's always changing hands. There's money coming in, there's money coming out. Well, I wish I knew. There's money coming into the hobby from people opening packs. There's money exiting the hobby from people who are exiting the hobby and selling off their collections and then going to invest elsewhere. But generally speaking, the money stays at a certain market cap. Let's say the market, we'll just use a random number. Let's say the market cap's $100 million. So Sword and Shield cools off, right? Now, everybody who was out there buying 20 copies of Umbreon VMAX and every Altar and all the booster boxes, they're like, okay, this is chilling for a second. Where can I put this money to try to make more money? And then they just go back one more generation to Sun and Moon. And so now we're seeing Sun and Moon take off again. And it's regaining all of the losses it suffered when the Sword and Shield Altarts started to take over. So Sword and Shield Altarts went up like crazy. Sun and Moon Altarts dropped like crazy. Like bad drops, like 30-40% drops. Now, Sword and Shield stabilized, lost maybe 10-15%, and now we're seeing Sun and Moon make up all the ground that it lost and then some. Not only on the sealed product, but on the singles as well. So it's just really interesting to me to see what all is going on in the market. So if you're sitting on tag team stuff, anything tag team, it's all still extremely hot. A lot of people thought that like we were kind of through that and we were onto the Sword and Shield Altarts. Not true. And we're going to see these like these cycles as time goes on with Pokemon. We're getting into some new cool sets. We just today found out Terastal Festival is the high class set that's coming out in December. That's going to be coming from Japan. We get one every year. We get one high class set every year. Last year was Shiny Treasure. Shiny Treasure.
Something like that.
But not Shiny Treasure. It's looking like it's going to be much stronger than Shiny Treasure. It's an all Eevee set.
Oh boy.
It's Eevee and that's literally the exact message I put in Discord. I put the picture up and it said Terastal confirmed, Eevee and all the Eeveelutions in their EX and Terastal forms, and the message underneath just said, "Oh boy," because it's got the potential to be, Evolving Skies 2.0, Eevee Heroes 2.0, and those
it's
sets.
October 3rd.
What about October 3rd?
Go on.
Is this another Mean Girls reference? Who told you to do this? It's December 6th that Terastal comes out.
But it was October 3rd. And Aaron Samuel's hair looked really cute that day. She remembered.
I don't know who taught you or told you to do this Mean Girl stuff, but I think I've seen the movie
You know
twice.
who you can thank. Think about it.
There's a lot of people who would tell you to do that.
Think about it. Who gives everybody the most crap? There you go. Bingo.
First thought was D and Special K. So
Bingo.
Sorry to whichever one it wasn't. Okay, so sorry, Deidre.
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of my spiel.
A lot of market talk.
There's a lot, and I don't want to like bore people off, but it's really important, I think, because collectors come in, and I see this happen a lot. Collectors come in, people come into the hobby, they buy a bunch of stuff, and then they see their cards start to lose value, and they're like, "This is dumb. These cards aren't worth anything anymore. this is, they're never going to be worth anything. And basically you buy, like, people like buy at the high and then sell at the low and then just like rinse and repeat because they wait and they want the next thing, and their cards aren't worth as much anymore. So they sell them because they think they're not going to be worth more in the future.
Well,
And
they have no
then
patience.
or they're impatient or whatever the case may be. And they sell and then they buy the next thing at the high. And like, the market, it moves extremely quickly, especially in the Scarlet Violet era, because we're getting new sets thrown down our throat. Everything is just like rapid fire. But it's important to be, I think it's important to be patient and try to spend the money that you have allocated to collecting, to spend it wisely and just be patient.
And if
I
you
don't know.
don't
I
want to
think it's
spend it
important.
wisely, just give it to me.
Or apparently Zack Mo's accepting donations from people who don't want to spend their collecting money wisely.
You can
But
just Venmo me.
it is
That's
important to
Zack Mo
know that
Martin.
Your cards, even if the cards aren't worth much today, there's a strong chance, if they're, you know, sought after cards, or if they're a Charizard, for example, right? Like at some point that card's going to be worth more than what it's worth today. So just like take a breath a little
So
bit, you know.
give, for example, the Obsidian Flames Charizard, not the
It's like
gold, but the other
40.
one.
It's like $40 right now.
Right. You think that's gonna go up in price eventually?
At some point. At some point, absolutely. Because the
So
kids today that are getting into Pokemon are seeing all these Terra Pokemon, and that's how they know Charizard. You know how many kids that their first Charizard they ever pulled was the Obsidian Flames Charizard? A
that's
lot.
sickening.
I feel bad for them, right? I don't think it's what Charizard should be, but I like plain, boring Charizard on a holographic card. These kids
You also
throw
like
holos
Marnie though,
away.
so
All right, Marnie's the best trainer, but these kids today don't
mid.
understand that a holo is a hit, right? Like when I started collecting, the holo was as good as it got. So I wanted a plain holographic Charizard. There are 20 plain holographic Charizards on the market right now that are worth less than $5 because
I
they're
have a
just
good amount of them
a lot. Yeah, I mean the
because
Pokemon Go Charizard. There's a lot. Radiant Charizards
a
aren't worth
lot of
much.
those.
Neo Destiny Shining Charizard is worth thousands of dollars, and it looks very
Thousands of
similar.
dollars.
It looks very similar. You're such a jerk today. It looks very similar to the Radiant Charizard from Crown Zenith, but
It does.
it's
I actually was just
anyways.
looking at that the other night.
Any Hoosers, be patient. Your cards will appreciate in value if you wait long enough. And if you have questions and you're in our Discord, feel free to reach out. If you're wondering, like, whatever, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you how to invest your money, but there's great resources out there for you to learn what's happening in the market, what's going on with prices.
Jamie, if you're listening, still sell me that Charizard at $40. Don't save it.
I think it's under 40. I think it's like 38.
You hear that, Jamie? I'm giving you 38.
I don't know today's market price on it, but
He said 40.
all right. So I talked for a very long time. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Shrouded Fable, which is set to be very similar to Night Wanderer, what we saw with Japan?
What are my thoughts on it? It's a good question. I don't have any thoughts on it. I think that Greninja it's a promo, no? I think that promo is pretty dope. I don't know what else is in it. I know I've seen stuff and it's completely out of my head right now. I cannot remember.
Okay. So we ripped a bunch like this weekend, and basically
Wait, so everything from Night Wanderer is going to be in it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That Persian is dope. Dope
Yep.
as fuck. The Duskline, like you said, when I had first seen this set, and I saw you talking bad about it because you're a terrible person, I immediately thought to myself that line in that art looks so fucking cool. And like it reminds me of the pincer that we just recently got.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Like this is sort of the same art
the
style, the
art
drawing.
from Twilight Masquerade.
Yes.
And it's also very similar to the Heracross.
From
the blue Heracross from
all Heracross are blue unless it's shiny and it's pink.
No, it's like a blue and green card. It looks like he's about to cross the road.
Why did
It's
the
either
Heracross cross the road?
I don't remember what set it's from. It's from either 2, 4, or 5. So Paldea, Paradox, or Temporal. Somebody would know.
Gotcha.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, the Dusk line I thought was really dope. The Horsey, that might have been the first card I seen from the set, and I fell in love with that immediately, which is why I told you I want it.
Yep, it's great. I agree.
I think those cards. Well, Shrouded Fables is going to be a combination of Nightwater and something else.
No, it's a specialty set, so it's the ETB only, and then the 2 collection boxes, and then there will be some ancillary products and some booster bundles.
So there's going to be nothing new.
From
like
my
aside
understanding,
from, like, promos.
I think there's maybe 2 new art rares that are being introduced into the set. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. I think there's 12 in Japan and then 14 in the US.
That's interesting. So it's a small set.
Yeah. Think Champion's Path.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me. This is
when I was Champion's Path is similar, where it's a small set, 5, 6 main chases. The difference is there were no art rares at that time.
Right.
So it's that, but with art rares. So we're gonna have Zerozic, which is the male trainer who's red, like the red hair. We'll have Kalres. We'll have who we call Penny, but it's Cassiopeia right now is what it's called in Japan.
Do you know why she's called Cassiopeia?
I don't. Do you?
Okay. So, yeah, actually I do.
Please.
Because I would love to if you'd stop talking. Love you.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Yeah, we do.
Did I do it right?
You did. You can't sit with us. So in Scarlet and Violet, there's like the big, goddamn, what's the word? Field work. I think it's field work. I'm definitely wrong. It's like a study thing that you have to do. So you have to get all the Titans, you have to defeat all the gym leaders, and you have to defeat all the Team Star bases. The person that puts you on the Team Star base storyline is Cassiopeia, which, spoiler alert, turns out to be Penny.
Got it.
Behind a screen. That's why that card, she's like typing and shit behind a screen, and it looks like that. It's because she's like hiding her identity until the very end of the game. But
so
you know Penny throughout the game.
In English, it may actually be called Cassiopeia's whatever.
That's the name, yeah. Yeah, that's her name. Yeah. So like there's Clive and
Johnny
Mr.
Bravo.
Clavel. Right. So Clive also is a part of that storyline where he's like checking in, but he's actually like the head. He's like the Dumbledore of the school. What's the word I'm looking for? The head what? Master? Headmaster. Yeah. He's a headmaster of the school. He's like checking in, so he dresses up as Clive. That's why we have Clive looking the way he does.
I'm just picturing Dumbledore dressing up as Clive now. I think that's a visual that we can all appreciate.
From the first ones, or the Dumbledore that we left with?
Albus? No, the original.
I know OG. Albus.
The OG. That's the only one I know.
2 actors that played.
I don't even know if I watched the later Harry Potters. I know I watched the early ones.
Whoa. So I read all the books. For that, I want everybody in the comments to say Marnie is mid because of what he just said. He deserves that.
Marnie's goated.
What's the last Harry Potter you've seen?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know when the last time I watched Harry Potter was. My wife's a huge Harry Potter fan, so I'm sure I've seen all of them. You never watched them? I mean, they've been on, but I've been like on my phone, not like watching the movie.
Not living in the moment, sitting next to your wife watching
Definitely
the movie
not.
with her.
Probably working while she was watching Harry Potter.
Miss Collector, I'm so sorry.
That's what I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but that's like one of the very like 2024 things that happens in my life these days. I'll have like my phone in my hand, my laptop, and the television, and it's like I just can't get enough screen going at once.
Yeah, but you're not even watching the TV if Harry Potter's on.
No, the TV is just making noise. Usually, like I'll put on like Kill Tony or something like that in the background just for noise. Lately, I've been watching Stavros Halkias. He's hilarious. And then I'll be like working on my laptop for something and then like answering messages on Discord. It's just a ridiculous amount of screen going on.
Yet, I know quite a few people who would say you ignore us on Discord answering messages.
Yeah,
so,
people think that, but that is not the case.
That is
I
the
ignore
case.
I ignore you selectively, but no, I mean, occasionally I might forget to respond to a message, but for the most part, I try to be extremely responsive. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So it sounds like you're pretty big into the Harry Potter universe.
No, I'm just not a loser that hasn't watched them.
Okay, interesting take. I've watched them. I remember, but so like when I watched them, what's Hermione's name in real life?
Hermione,
No, in
Emma
real life.
Watson.
Emma Watson was a kid when I watched them.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she was a kid up until she was 18.
But like
So that's a
wasn't
majority of them.
when I watched them, she was like a child. Like in the movies, she was a child.
So what did you watch the first two and that's it?
Maybe first two or three, probably. I
That's
think I saw
wild.
the fourth one.
Goblet of Fire.
Wasn't the fourth one like a really long book? It was green.
Goblet of Fire. Was it green? It might have been green. I haven't seen it in years.
The prisoner of Alakazam or something.
The Prisoner of Alakazam. Is that in Sabrina's gym?
Yeah, that's where you find that.
The Prisoner of Azkaban.
I
Or
know.
Azkaban.
Moaning Marnie, she's the person in the bathroom.
Moaning Marty. You wish that was her name. It's Moaning Myrtle.
I know.
Pervert.
I also I also know that, but look, dude, I wasn't ever a huge Harry Potter fan. Even when I read the books, like I read all, I think I
You know
read
what's
the first
funny?
4 or 5 books.
In the movies, Moaning Myrtle, the actress was like 30, and Daniel Radcliffe was like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14.
Did they kiss?
And
They kissed, didn't they?
they didn't kiss, but she had to like flirt with him and like
Oh,
pretend
okay.
like she liked him and all that. It's like I saw she said in an interview that it was very awkward.
I'm sure. We see a lot
I
of
wouldn't
weird
know.
stuff like that in movies, though.
Who's we?
America, people who watch movies.
Speaking of that, Mean Girls. Gretchen Wieners was like 32 when they filmed that.
And she was playing a high schooler.
Yes, most of them were.
Got it. Wasn't Lindsay Lohan in that movie?
You better be being sarcastic.
I'm not. I think I've seen it once, probably. My sister had it on, and in a very similar situation, I was probably on my phone or something.
Did you just ask me if Lindsay Lohan was in Mean Girls?
Yeah, is she not in Mean Girls? I'm looking it up right now.
You're looking it up. I am flabbergasted. And I don't think I ever used that word.
She's like the main character in Mean Girls.
Yeah.
So I was right.
You were right, but it was a ridiculous question.
And then the other 3 are like 20 years older than her. They all look like they just finished filming American Pie, and then they had to film Mean Girls. Sorry, bro. It's not my cup of tea.
That it's already raining outside.
Have you
And
seen
he doesn't
Baby
even
Driver?
get the reference. No, we already talked about this.
Have you seen oh god, now because I'm flustered, the name of the movie is escaping me. Whiplash?
No.
Okay, these are 2 of the greatest movies of our lifetime. All right.
Okay.
So I don't want to hear any more shit.
They don't hold a candle to Mean Girls.
I'm pretty sure Whiplash got an EGOT, so you should watch Whiplash at the very least.
5 EGOTs, and it still wouldn't hold a candle to Mean Girls.
You can't get 5 EGOTs. All right.
The limit does not exist.
I was just about to say I'll rewatch Mean Girls. I'm not doing it. I'm 35 years old, bro, or 34. I think 34. I'm not rewatching Mean Girls until my daughter, who is currently 5, says I want to watch Mean Girls. I'm not watching it. I'm good.
I'm telling your wife to tell your daughter to say that.
All right. Well, then I'll watch it. If Melody asks, I'll watch it. But I have no interest in watching Mean Girls.
At the end of August, we will be spending a weekend together.
Watching Mean Girls?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're watching Whiplash and Baby Driver.
After Mean Girls. I've seen American Hustle. Jennifer Lawrence.
Good.
Christian Bale.
That's why you've seen it, because she was in like 3 sci-fi movies or something.
No, it was a good movie. I've seen it. What sci-fi movies was she in?
Bruh. She's Mystique.
You're calling that sci-fi? I mean, yeah,
What
it's
is
sci-fi, but
X-Men
it's a
if
comic
not
book.
science? Yeah, of
Yeah.
course it's a comic movie. She was in the Hunger
But when you
Games.
say sci-fi, all right, see, I think of that. I've never seen the Hunger Games.
All right, well, I have. So how about that?
Tell me about it.
Maybe a little too adult for you. I don't know.
What does that mean?
Mr. Mean Girls and whatever other Magoo ass movies you're telling me I got to go watch.
How is Mean Girls not an adult movie?
I don't. What is it rated? Is it like a PG?
It's probably PG-13.
Probably
They talk about
PG-13.
sex. If you have
I don't
sex,
know.
you'll get
I've
AIDS
never
and
seen
you'll
it.
die.
I've probably seen it once, and like I said, I was doing other things.
Being a loser.
Apparently so. So you're like into Mean Girls? Is this a thing?
Mean Girls is one of the greatest movies ever. And that's not a joke.
So other than the Funko Pops, what else like did you have like
I used
posters?
to have the DVD. No. I used to have the
I'm sure
DVD. I don't know what happened to it.
I'm sure that DVD existed in my house as well. I have a younger sister, so I'm sure we had it.
I have an older sister, but the DVD was mine.
Okay, I love that. That's very good.
It's a great movie, and I'm very disappointed in you.
All right. So I guess for research purposes, I'll watch Mean Girls and I'll let you know if I agree or disagree with this sentiment of it being a great movie.
Well, you better agree, or else you're going to get so much hate. And not just from me,
All right, I'll watch it and I'll give my honest feedback on it.
everybody.
I will
Okay.
watch the film, the cinematic masterpiece that you are
You watch Mean
drooling
Girls
about.
with no devices other than your TV, and
That
I will
already
buy
sounds
you a hot dog.
like it already sounds like torture. I think I'd rather just buy myself the hot dog.
I'll buy you something sweet.
All right. All right. I can't even eat a hot dog from Madison Square Garden.
Why not?
I developed an allergy to beef
I'd kill
when I
myself.
was like it
I'm
was
sorry.
pretty bad. I was like 24. Yeah, so I haven't had beef
I
in
think I'm getting
about 10
lactose
years.
intolerant.
That happens as we age. That's like a natural thing that happens to people. Your
Cheese
body
makes me
stops
gassy.
producing the enzyme needed to break down the lactose in milk as you age because there's less and less need for it in your body. It's like a survival mechanism, I guess. The the atomic energy that would go into producing that enzyme goes elsewhere and keeps you alive in other ways. That's why so many people are lactose intolerant as they get older.
Hmm.
But if you don't ever stop drinking milk, if you drink milk a lot, then your body will continue. Like if you drink milk a lot from when you're a kid to when you're an adult, your body will continue producing that enzyme because it's needed on a daily basis. So
Well,
it
I
doesn't
drink a
ever
lot of milk.
realize. Did you
The gay
did you
guy's name
take a
was
break
Damien. I
for
completely just remembered.
what?
Don't worry about it. Whoever was listening and is yelling at me for not remembering his name was Damien.
Got it. Okay. Did you take a break from milk for a while?
No.
All right. Well, maybe you're just developing an intolerance for lactose. But typically what happens is
My body's weird.
people reduce their intake and then you stop producing the enzymes as frequently. That's actually how I ended up with a beef allergy. I'm not technically allergic. I just don't produce the enzymes needed to break down whatever is in beef. I get sick for
So
like
you
3 days.
stopped eating beef for a while
Mhm.
and then developed that?
Correct.
Did you go
I did this
vegetarian?
like Mediterranean. It wasn't vegetarian. I did this thing called like Mediterranean dieting or Mediterranean eating. And it's a lot of
Chicken and
like
lamb?
a lot of chicken, a lot of pasta, a lot of like olive oil infused dishes, a lot of like healthy-ish stuff. Um,
Hummus?
and yep, I ate a lot of hummus.
I still eat a
Vegetables,
lot of
whatever. Like
hummus.
I did that like for like a year, kind of like accidentally. I was just like, I intentionally was doing this Mediterranean style of eating, but then I like stopped doing that and then just was like continuing to make those choices. I wasn't like paying attention necessarily. I was just continuing to make like that's what I liked, I guess. And then like randomly I was like with my uncle and we went out to a restaurant, and I was like, I haven't had a steak in forever, right? Like not realizing it had actually been a really long time. I was just like, oh, I haven't had a steak in forever. Let me get a good steak. And I ordered like a ribeye or something. Just I'm sure I pounded it, and I was sick for like 3 days after. I was like,
Damn.
oh, that's weird. I got sick at the restaurant we went to, like didn't put two and two together. And then I think like a month later, I was hanging out with a different group of friends, and we were like playing board games or something. And they for dinner we had like bolognese, and of course the sauce had beef in it, and same
It is a
thing,
meat
got sick
sauce.
the exact same way. And I was like, ooh, this is weird. And I talked to the doctor about it, and they were like, it's the beef. So that was that.
That sucks.
It's terrible.
I don't know what I would do without hot dogs.
Well, so like we had hot dogs for dinner tonight, but they're just not beef.
That's
I think we
fair.
had turkey. I think tonight's were turkey. They make all different variations. Turkey,
Yeah,
chicken,
I know. Pork.
they're good. They
I like
are
hot dogs.
delish.
Every year on my birthday, I have hot dogs,
Hot
mashed
dogs.
potatoes, and corn.
There you go. Do you ever have cowboy mac and cheese when you were a kid? Is that a thing for you in New York? You know what it is? Macaroni and
It might
cheese
have
with
been. I just don't know.
cut up hot dogs in it and ketchup on
It's a
top.
thing. I just didn't have it.
Yeah, I never had it either, but I was just curious if you had it. One of my buddies when I was living in Minnesota, that was like a staple of his. Like he would eat it like a lot.
Sounds
And I was like,
gross.
that sounds terrible. Yeah,
It does.
but my 5-year-old
I
likes it.
well maybe the hot dogs and the mac and cheese doesn't sound too terrible because I know a lot of people that put melted cheese on hot dogs,
Mm-hmm.
but putting ketchup on it on mac and cheese,
That's a thing. Sound off in the comments. Should you put ketchup on mac and cheese? Yes or no? That's a
no.
thing,
I'll tell
bro.
you
I'm
right now.
telling you,
No.
people do it. People love it. People swear by it. Most of them are
Well, they're
5,
wrong.
but some of them are adults.
I think it's just your
I
daughter.
No, it's not just my daughter. I don't do it either, but a lot of people do it.
It's weird. It's gross.
Yeah. So is liking Mean Girls as much as you do at your age.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Everybody put your favorite quote from Mean Girls in the comments. I want to see these comments full of Mean Girl quotes and end it with Marnie is mid.
Marnie is not
Because
mid.
I already asked you
Who's
to
the
say
best
that.
trainer? If Marnie is mid, if
Not
Marnie is
Marnie.
mid, who's the best trainer? I'll wait.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about it.
No thought required. Answer is Marnie. Easy.
Youngster Joey.
Not even a chance, dude. He's got 3 Caterpies.
No, he doesn't. He's got
What's
the
youngster Joey's battle party?
Rattata. Look
I
it
think
up.
that's biker.
No. I'll look it up.
I think youngster Joey has 3 Caterpies. I think there's probably multiple iterations of youngster Joey in Kanto.
First thing, okay, all I did was put in youngster Joey in Google, and the top searches are youngster Joey shorts, which I kind of want to see what that has to say. Youngster Joey Rattata is the third thing.
Let's see what youngster. Look, did you look up? Whoops, I just dropped Pokemon cards. Did you
All
look up
I did
youngster
was look
Joey's
up
battle party?
No, I just looked up youngster Joey, and the third thing says Rattata right after it, because the world knows that that's what he has.
All right, I was wrong then. I'm looking it up as well.
Usually.
Youngster
Yeah,
Joey
go for it.
Caterpie. Youngster Joey. Whoops. Youngster Joey shorts. There's got to be a different
See?
youngster Joey that has
You
nothing to
got
do
the
with
same thing.
Pokemon.
He has shorts in the game. That's what they're talking about in that.
All right, he's on
Talking
Route
about
30 and he challenges you with Ratata. Oh, he's got like real short shorts.
Yeah, he's got shorts.
They're short though.
Okay. They're shorts.
Hi, I like shorts. They're comfy and easy to wear.
That's what he says.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
That's the best trainer.
All right. Well, that's fine if you
What
like
is
youngster
with
Joey.
all of you oddballs fangirling over these trainers.
I mean, I don't know if it's like fangirling, but I like the relationship between trainer and Pokemon personally. I'm a huge fan of the trainer
That's
gallery.
not what I'm talking about. Let's take out the lava lamp.
You're talking about waifus?
Sure. That's a word.
Yeah, waifu. That's what they're called. Waifu trainers. So I mean, like
It's a cartoon.
answering on, well, yeah, but dude, people are into that. Like lava lamp style, people are totally into that. Multi-billion-dollar industry. Hentai. It's a thing.
Oh, I know it's a thing. I just don't get it. And that just may be me.
Don't kink shame. Some people like weird stuff.
I'm not kink shaming. I just said I
You ever
don't
see
get it.
that?
That just may be me. That's
You ever
just
see that
me.
video where the guy's like, "Don't kink shame," and then he's like, "Kink shaming
That's my kink
is
shame.
kink."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, such a good
Wasn't
video."
that a Vine?
Yeah, it might have been a Vine. Yeah, R.I.P. Vine.
One of my
But
favorite Vines was when there's one kid and he's saying, my name's Michael with a B, and
yeah,
I'm
wait,
scared of
stop. There's a
I'm
bee.
scared of insects. Yeah. There's a bee. I freaking love that one.
My name is Michael with a B. Dude, Vine. I could go on. We could do 20 minutes of Vines on the podcast. We probably shouldn't, but we could. I collected
Absolutely could.
Vines.
You
I watched
collected
some.
them?
I watched so many Vine compilations. It's
I do the same.
a problem. What are some
Today
other?
I,
I was
I
thinking of this
actually
today. Go ahead.
today I actually
Yes.
watched a compilation that I haven't watched in a very long time. World Star Hip Hop Fight compilation.
World Star.
I
That's
completely
funny.
forgot those were things. I used to
I
watch those all the time.
haven't watched a World Star video in a minute. That's funny.
It is.
I'll have to
They
watch
have an
World
app.
Star tonight. They have an app still?
Yeah,
Like they're
I
still a
found out
thing?
today.
Still relevant?
Yeah,
That's awesome. All right, I'll look up
it's
some
not
World
very
Star
well
stuff.
put together, but
Shocker. The guy who coined the term Bing Bong is the one running it. So, what's that guy's
fuck
name?
your life.
Yeah,
That
what's his
guy,
name?
he
Yeah, I
he
forget his
runs
name.
World Star.
I don't know. He likely could, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I don't know his name.
I don't remember his name either.
A fucking video.
Bing Bong, fuck your life. He
Fuck
had
your
some funny.
life.
He said a lot of funny stuff. He
Oh
was
yeah,
like really.
yeah.
His roasts were pretty great.
But he was TikTok.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
when he got famous. Was like early TikTok, COVID TikTok.
COVID TikTok. Good times.
Yeah, good old
That's when I
Tiger King.
downloaded TikTok.
So when everybody
Tiger
downloaded
King.
TikTok. All right, so I was thinking about this today because I bought something that I've been collecting since I was a kid that I forgot to mention that I collect. Is there anything that you can think of that you collect that we haven't talked about yet? He's thinking for those of you that are just listening.
I was deep in thought. What do I collect? That Ziploc bags.
What?
Listen, okay. As a diabetic, I have to carry around a lot of supplies,
Okay.
needles, insulin, my meter, strips for my meter, all sorts of things that go along with being a diabetic in your day-to-day life. I like to put them in Ziploc bags. So when I see a good Ziploc bag, I'm
Good.
like, yo,
Define good.
that
Like, does
is
it have like a cool design on it? Like you're hunting like
no. If
vintage
it's like
Power Ranger
thick,
Ziploc
if it's
bags.
thick plastic
Okay.
and
So
like
like
a solid zip,
hefty
yeah. I mean,
Ziplocs.
if I find, I can probably, if I put my hand over here, I bet you I can find a Ziploc bag right
Ziploc
now.
bag. All right, so you fill your Ziploc bag with your supplies. Where does the Ziploc go in your day to day?
Bag.
Where do you keep the bag?
Well, where am I going? Am I
I don't
going
know
to
to
work?
work. Yeah, sure.
I keep the bag next to me. I keep the Ziploc bag in my backpack.
In your backpack. Got it.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. So do you carry a backpack every day when you're
I
working?
used to. Oh, when I'm working, yeah, I always have my bag on me because I also like to keep other random shit in there. But
What
I
kind of backpack
used
is it?
to. I don't know, just
What's the brand? It says right on the front.
Some off-brand I found on Amazon.
Nice. Okay. Does it have
I
2
couldn't tell you.
compartments?
It's got 3. All right, it's got a laptop compartment, a main compartment, a tinier compartment, a little zip on the side, and a smaller front compartment.
Nice.
So I can hide all my shit. It also has a USB port attached to it, so I can charge something on the go.
Does it have a charging brick inside, or you put the charging brick in yourself?
Put the charging brick in yourself.
And then you could plug it in from the exterior, right?
Correct.
Got it.
It's a pretty cool backpack.
I went down a big rabbit hole for looking for nice bags a while back.
Oh, this is a really nice bag. I can send you a link. I'll put the link in Discord if anybody wants to see it.
I no longer need one. It was for when
I'm gonna put the link in Discord for everybody who's listening.
I don't need it, but someone might. It was when I was about to be a first-time dad. I was like really looking for a good backpack. But anyway, that's interesting that you choose a Ziploc bag. That's pretty funny.
Well, because also you asked if I wore a bag every day. When I was younger, when I didn't have my insulin pump, and I actually had to carry around syringes and insulin all freaking day. Like now, I just have the insulin pump. It's attached to me. I really don't need much else. So like in my backpack going to work, I always have extra supplies on me. But if I'm like going out to a bar or something, I don't bring a bag with me. Although I used to, because I had all the syringes and everything that I needed.
Right. Got it. So you never collected anything else like when you were younger? Like any brand of toys or
I had wrestlers. I had Pogs.
Yeah, see? You just forgot that you were a collector.
I don't remember what Pogs I had, but I definitely had Pogs.
Who does, dude? I just had tubes of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure I had like an 8-ball slammer, but I don't remember what specific Pogs I had. I have Power Ranger Pogs, which are sick.
I had a huge box of wrestler figures, but they weren't really necessarily to be collected. They were more of I'm playing
like your toys. Like, yeah, you were playing with them. Yeah.
I had a bunch of Star Wars toys as a kid.
And then as you grew up, you like stopped collecting other than like Funko Pops and Pokemon?
Well, there was definitely a good period of time where I wasn't collecting anything.
I don't think I ever had that, bro. Like I've been collecting.
You know what I was collecting during that time? Ziploc bags.
I have the bug, man. Like I can't help it. I get so heavy into stuff. I get like, I mean, my wife would, I'm sure, come up with some smart way to make fun of me for it. But like anything I get into, I go heavy and like just start collecting like crazy.
Well, there was a period of time where I wouldn't stop quitting jobs just because I was like, fuck this place, I'm out. So I guess because of that, I was never stably with money.
I collected,
of that, I guess
I collected like shells. Like
I hate the beach.
Decks of cards. I probably own I'm not trying to exaggerate, but like 1,000+ different decks of cards. I like literally just bought one today.
Cigars.
I have a lot of cigars.
Now, are your decks of cards cool, or are they just?
I mean, I think they are. So anytime I traveled somewhere, I would buy a deck of cards. So I have decks of cards from all over the world. But I also buy like there's like high-end designer playing cards that are meant for like magicians and stuff like that. People who like handle cards and do like call it cardistry, like really fancy stuff with a deck of cards, and it looks really, really cool. So there's a company like Theory 11. Like if you go to Target or like whatever, anywhere that sells decks of playing cards, Walgreens, Rite Aid, I think carries Theory 11 stuff. They're like $13 for a deck of cards, which is a very ridiculous price for a deck of cards.
I don't know where they are, but I have a really cool like black and gold deck.
Nice. Theory 11? Or just a black and gold deck of cards. Well, what made me think of it today, there was a clearance deck of Theory 11 Spider-Man cards. They were half price. And I was like, I'm buying this deck of cards. I have no need for a deck of cards, but I bought it. I don't even think I brought it inside the house. Might still be in my car. Might live there for a year.
Spider-Man.
Dude, so sick. Such a sick deck of cards. But I
have a lot of cool Spider-Man Funkos.
as I was driving home, I was wondering, like, wonder if Zack Mo collected anything that we haven't talked about. Because I collect like, I just like stuff, dude. It's bad. I have like so many hats. It's ridiculous.
I don't have so many, but I do have a collection of hats, I would say.
I have a lot of stuff. I don't really like. I've always been that way. Like when I couldn't,
I
like
really haven't.
when I couldn't afford nice things, I would collect like free things. I just always wanted to be collecting stuff.
I have a collection of wires
From what?
for all kinds of uses.
Oh, like
I just
the
like to
death
have
box of like extra cables. You mean?
yeah,
Oh,
but I keep
okay.
them in
I
a
thought you meant
Ziploc
like
bag.
wire. I thought you meant like a wire, like like copper or whatever. You were just
No,
talking about a Ziploc bag full of cables, the death bag.
no, they're all neatly stored in there.
You're a
And
sociopath.
they're in rubber bands or twist ties
You are Christian Bale, sociopath.
because I like to keep my wires in neat order. So when I know I
Nobody's
need something,
nobody has a neat death box of wire other than you. Mine's right here, and it's not neat. I'll tell you that.
I don't feel like grabbing mine. My Ziploc full of
I'm at my
wires.
desk, so mine is right next to me.
I like to keep them neat. I like
All
to
right, well
be
that's
put back. If somebody
good,
borrows it, I like it to be put back where it goes, so
dude.
that if I need it again,
I have cables that haven't worked on anything since 1998. Like, who's
yeah. But
borrowing
if
them?
I have a family here who all charges things, and none of them have wires, so they all come to me for the wires. And then when I ask for it back, it's either broken or they lost it. I like
You're the
everything to
wire
be
guy.
put back. Yeah, I like everything to be put back where it is.
All right,
I
that's
have
good.
my tool bag.
That's a good trait.
Somebody uses the hammer. I want the hammer to be put back in the tool bag so that the next time somebody needs it, it's in the tool bag. But
Yeah.
no,
Nope.
Jennifer, my sister, can't put things back where it goes. And now everybody's looking for the damn hammer and nobody knows where the hell it is because she can't put it back in the tool bag.
Well,
Things
that
like
would
that
be.
frustrate me.
I wish that I had the ability to always put something back right where I picked it up from. Like I'm currently, my tool bag is to my right. I just bought a new shelving unit. I'm in the middle of renovating this office still, but my tool bag with all of the tools is to the right, except for the reciprocating saw, which I used most recently. That is to my left on top of my computer
But it's
box.
still in the same vicinity.
It's in the same room.
Right. So like if the hammer was put back close to the tool bag and it was known that it was put there, then I'm okay with that. But if she just puts it wherever the fuck she wants and then doesn't remember or tell anybody, that irks me.
I could see how that would be problematic. The only things I really keep super well organized are like business related things. And usually when I'm collecting something for the first, I don't know, year, I'll be like very meticulous. And then after that, it's just like, eh.
I do collect something else.
Do tell.
What did you call it? Uh Electric dance music. EDM.
EDM.
Yeah. Isn't that what you called it?
Yeah.
Every day
Oh, everyday carry. EDC.
electric dance something.
Electric Daisy Carnival. That's a thing.
Whatever. I have a collection of like knives and stuff like that because when Jennifer doesn't put the hammer back where it goes,
We're gonna get demonetized if we ever get monetized. This video is definitely getting demonetized at some point. I was very heavy into EDC. I can talk for an entire episode about EDC. I happen to have. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Did you see this? You can see that, right? Looks
see
like a
you're
banana
holding
clip.
something.
Looks like a banana clip.
Okay.
This is my favorite cutting tool that I own. Jamie has seen this. A few other people in the court have seen this.
Very bright.
It's the Boker Desert Warrior.
Very cool.
It's ridiculous.
I carry this around with me most days.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But imagine this bringing you to your door. It's got sprinkles on it.
That's cute. Yeah, now that you hold it up closer, I can see it. Another thing I have a collection of. I have a collection of lightsabers.
That's sick. This company, Boker, they make a smaller version of this knife, which is called the Kalashnikov, that are modeled after all of the lightsabers. So they have like 6 or 7 variants where it'll have like that bright blue blade, but like a black handle.
It's called a
Pretty
hilt.
sick.
The lightsaber is called a hilt. On a lightsaber, it's called a hilt.
I was gonna say on a sword, but yes, also on a lightsaber. On a switchblade, it is not called a fucking hilt.
Could be.
I showed you my bounty hunter, right? I don't have it in this room.
I have a Boba Fett helmet.
Did I show it to you? My bounty hunter.
You did.
Switchblade?
You did.
Oh, so sick.
Yeah. Send it to me. I
Is
want
your
it.
Boba Fett helmet scaled 1-to-1?
It fits my head in it.
Yeah. So yes, that's sick.
It is. Pretty sick.
I don't have a Boba Fett helmet. I have a Red Ranger helmet.
That's sick.
And I bought my brother for his birthday, his most recent birthday, a Lord Zed helmet with a voice changer in it that makes him sound like Lord
awesome.
Zed. It's sick.
I used to have a Kylo Ren helmet with a voice changer that made you sound like Kylo Ren.
Oh,
Who's Kylo Ren?
Here's how it made you sound. Wah! That's my impression of Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Next week, I'll show you my lightsabers.
All right.
It sounded so weird. They're pretty dope.
A few, but they were all like toys, not like nice ones.
Oh no, these ones I spent pretty penny on, and they light up.
Dude, I asked you what other things you collect. You're like Ziploc bags. How about fucking lightsabers, Star Wars memorabilia?
Yeah, I have quite a collection of things.
I like to go through the trash and find good Ziploc bags.
I don't go through the trash and get them. I just happen to see them, and I'm like, oh, I'm keeping that. You really
for my things couldn't think of anything when I asked that question. Like, I have a collection of knives, I have other EDC gear, I have lightsabers. No, I got Ziploc fucking bags.
I have a crap ton of fishing equipment.
Dude, another thing that would have been excellent to bring up when I asked this question.
Shit ton of fishing lures and a lot of fishing poles and reels. You still don't get used very often. No, I haven't gone in a very long time. Ever since my dad died. Thanks for bringing it up.
You brought it up. I almost choked on my ginger ale.
No, it was all his, and it came into my collection because he died. But now it's all my stuff. Yeah, I think that really is everything I collect.
All right.
Well, that's a lot more stickers.
There you go. I had a sticker door when I was a kid. I was allowed to do the inside of my closet door with as many stickers as I wanted. And that thing was covered from the top to the bottom, totally sticker bombed. I've been collecting so much shit, dude. When I was in middle school, I got suspended because maybe I just got detention Barbie doll head and put it on the volcano. No, that was elementary school. I don't know if I got suspended. I might have just got detention. But there was a grocery store across the street from my house, and they had these flyers. Like, you know, like when you're like leaving some like bodegas and grocery stores, they have like the free section where it's like the Realty magazines and like whatever, little flyers and shit, right? So there was one that had Britney Spears on it, and I was like 11, 12, right? So I'm like, oh my God, this is like semi-pornographic to me at that age. I literally took all of them. I took the whole stack.
How old? 12?
I was like 11 or 12, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember how old I was exactly.
You were innocent, huh?
I was in middle school.
Okay.
I was in like 6th or 7th grade. And so I took the entire stack because I'm sick in the head and I just always need to have lots of everything. And then I ended up getting in trouble because I went to school and I was like passing them out, and I like gave a stack to another kid who was like a known troublemaker, and I was like passing them out like on the sly, like, hey, I'm gonna start this business called the Collectors Club. Here's my business
On a
card.
sly?
On the sly, like
On the
discreetly.
low?
On the sly, yeah, like discreetly.
On the low. Okay.
So I was passing them out discreetly, and then he didn't. He was passing them out like throwing them and whatever. And then that obviously caught the teacher's attention, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And so I got suspended. And then they were like going to try to like charge me with theft. I was like, "These were literally free. How can it be theft?" They're like, "You took 200 of them." I was like, "So they're free."
Where did you put all of them?
They were in my
200.
backpack. I took them. It was like a stack.
Jeez.
It was like they were like postcard size. So I put them in my backpack, took them to school.
In
I got in
sixth
trouble with that
grade.
kid. I got in trouble with that kid like 4 times in my life. That same kid.
In sixth grade, I remember I brought a Playboy to school,
Ooh.
and you're bringing little
E.
Britney Spears posters.
Did you
I
get in
had
trouble?
a
Did you get caught?
No, of course not. I wasn't giving it out to the troubled kids.
Wasn't a He was a troubled kid. He's in prison, actually.
My point exactly.
All right. You want to know how he ended up in prison? This is one of my favorite stories of all time.
Let me just finish my Playboy story.
All right, go ahead.
It was a signed copy of the Sable and Tori Wilson double.
That's not a Playboy. That's a collector's item.
Yeah, guess where it is? I couldn't tell you.
Imagine it got confiscated. Where you like dropped it in the woods somewhere.
No, I gave it to my buddies across the street.
Womp womp.
And their mom found it and she tossed it.
Oh no. Yikes. That's a bummer. It was autographed?
Yeah, by both of them.
Where did you get it?
Buddy, so the girl who was across the street, she was older. Her boyfriend's mom worked for Playboy, and she had gotten it, and he gave it to me.
Sick. And then you lost it.
Yep, now it's gone.
Maybe that's
the last
like
time
at
I
the
ever
root.
give them a Playboy.
That's probably at the root of why you're so bothered when things don't end up back where they're supposed to go, because you lost something really valuable to you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what caused that. All right, so the story of this kid, real quick. I got in trouble with him multiple times throughout my life. That was one time. Another time was like when he said this like highly inappropriate thing to a girl. We were still in middle school together. It was before he got like shipped off to boarding school or whatever. He said something like extremely insensitive regarding her religion. She shared the same sentiment as you, and he made mention of Mr. H. It was bad. I don't even know how I really got involved with that. I think
I just love how you're beating around the bush that the girl was Jewish and he mentioned Hitler.
You can say these things. He didn't just mention it. It was bad, whatever it was. I don't remember exactly what he said. And I don't remember how I got involved in this. I think maybe he told me the joke or whatever the case was. I was somehow roped into it. And maybe I laughed or whatever. And I was somehow whatever. I shouldn't have been running with this kid. Another time. Okay, let me just get to the one time that how he ended up in prison. So he ended up he like served in the military, was living at his parents' house, and I don't know if he was like hard up for money or what the deal was, but he decided to rob a gas station at gunpoint. And it was in the middle of a blizzard, and the gas station was like 3 blocks from his house. And so he went to the gas station on foot, robbed them at gunpoint, and ran back to his house. And the police showed up, and they like asked for the details, and they were like, they gave the details. I don't know if he was wearing a mask or what. And they literally just Scooby-Doo followed his foot tracks to his fucking front door. Just like in the snow, just walked right back over his foot tracks. And then he ended up in prison for that. I don't know if he got out.
He's probably part of the AB.
I would imagine that's where he would end up if he's doing hard time. He may have gotten out. I don't know the specifics.
That's awesome.
Right, yeah. That was the same kid.
School kids.
Same kid who got me in trouble with the Britney Spears thing. That was the first time I ever got in trouble in school, really.
And you still hung out with him.
Dude, I don't know. I couldn't get away from that kid throughout the course of my life.
Well, to be fair, you did rip your sister's Barbie head off, so
I was in elementary school. I lived in a different town. I didn't even know him at the time.
well, then you went to that town and you guys got together. It's
I
like
guess maybe
let's
I
terrorize the
was like
Jews.
nah, not even. I was a pretty good kid for the most part. Like I got in trouble very rarely. When I did get in trouble, it was with this kid. I got suspended once, and that, to be fair, had nothing to do with him. I got suspended and fired all in the same day. That was fun.
I
I was
got
in
a Saturday detention for smoking a cigarette like a whole freaking block away from my school. And
we could smoke cigarettes on our school property.
it was Catholic school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to Catholic school for a year as a Jew. That was fun.
Wait, yeah, I didn't even put two and two together. What? That's fucking wild. How did
It was
that
fun.
happen?
My mom sent me there so I didn't cut school.
The
It
Catholic
worked.
school? Do they have
Yeah.
Jewish school?
Probably.
I've never
Yes.
heard of it before. I mean, you always talk about kids going to Catholic school, but
That's because I don't know the exact reason. I guess because Jewish school, there's no like regular Jewish school. There's like
I don't know.
Hasidic Jewish school,
I
like
don't know.
yeshivas and shit like that.
Well, aren't most people who, I don't know the correct word, people who are Hasidic, aren't they homeschooled for the most part?
No, they go to a Hasidic school.
Oh, it's a regular school, like a Catholic
For
school, but just for Hasidic.
yeah, and they
What's
learn
the word?
nothing.
Well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not Jewish. I can't say that. But what's the specific branch of Judaism that someone studies that they would call themselves a Hasidic Jew?
I don't know.
Okay. Is it a thing? Is there like a different? You know how like in Catholicism, there's like the Branch Davidians. They were like the psychos in Waco, and then there's like the
right.
Roman Catholics, and they're like the money. Never mind.
They're just. I think we all study the same shit, but it's like they're just more Jewish.
Just like closer to Amish.
They're not well,
closer to Amish
they're
is
not,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, but they're not really Amish.
Aren't there rules like every weekend, right? Like Friday and Saturday after sundown on Friday?
Yeah, no electricity.
Yeah.
But
For like 48
a
hours a
lot
week?
of them, but there's
That's
also
closer to Amish, bro. I'm just saying.
There's a border of inside this zone you can use electricity. Because we are living in 2024. I don't know what it's called. I'll look it up and I'll do my homework and I'll explain it to you next week. I forget what the word is, but there's like there's a border. Like I know in Manhattan, from like 14th Street all the way down to like Chinatown. In this border, if you're ever in Manhattan and you're in this little area, and if you look up and you see what looks like an electric line going from pole to pole, that's not an electric line. That's the line signifying you're inside of the zone where you can use electricity on a Saturday.
Why does that exist?
I don't know. I'm not Hasidic.
All right, I need to figure this out. This is wild. Religion is wild.
Religion is wild.
Okay, how did you end up in Catholic school? And then we'll wrap up.
My mom didn't want me to cut school, so she figured if she paid for it, I would feel guilty. She gave me Jewish guilt and put me in Catholic school.
Isn't part of the application like you have to be Catholic?
Nah, there were Muslims in there too.
Really?
There was like 2 or 3 Muslims, yeah.
Don't you have to, aren't like 2 classes a day studying Catholicism?
Just one. I aced the shit out of that.
Like, let me tell you about this conspiracy theory.
Well, Judaism is just the Old Testament.
Right.
It's the same freaking.
Yeah, but you only went in knowing 50% of Catholicism.
Well, my dad was Catholic.
Ah, so 75%.
Yeah. Well, he was more atheist, but like we celebrated Christmas, Easter. Growing up, we celebrated all the holidays. So I had Hanukkah and Christmas, but we only did one night of Hanukkah instead of all 8.
Yeah. You can't have Christmas and 8 nights of Hanukkah. That's
I mean, you
crazy.
can, but
9 days of gifts
well, you don't get awesome gifts each night.
on Hanukkah.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
get like
no, I know
one
that.
awesome
Is it
gift. It's not like
yeah, one night, right?
right. So
Yeah,
like my grandpa would give us $100 for Hanukkah, and that was it,
right.
which was
But
cool.
that would
But
have
Passover
also
is my
been
favorite holiday
why?
because it has the best food.
Ah,
My mom makes a mean matzo ball soup,
hmm.
and I look forward to that every year. It is delicious. Also, her Hebrew is terrible, and sometimes she starts speaking Spanish, and it's fucking hilarious. So we
Your
all get wasted.
is she Hispanic?
No,
Your dad was Hispanic.
no.
What? Why does she speak Spanish?
Well, because she taught in a Spanish neighborhood,
Okay.
so all the
Okay.
parents were Spanish.
Wait, so your dad was
Trinidadian.
Trinidadian?
Yeah.
100%?
No, he was Trinidadian, Irish, Scottish, and Native American.
Oh, okay. That
My
makes more
mom's
sense.
100% Polish.
Got it. I was gonna say, like, you really got some light skin for being 50% Trinidadian. That
Well,
would
not
be
all
wild.
Trinidadians are black.
No, I'm not saying black. I'm just saying you have no melanin. You
No,
should
I'm
not be out in the
mostly.
sun.
No, I burn up.
I
I,
can tell.
I crisp up.
I can see that. If you're not listening, just picture Casper. He's pretty pale. That's
If you're not
dangerous out
listening,
there.
you can go follow me on TikTok or Instagram, Zack Mo Martin. And if you follow me on TikTok and we get to 1,000, I can go live. I would be live on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights around
doing
8:30.
doing Digimon rip and ships.
Doing Digimon Rip Chips. Doing Digimon Rip Till You Hits.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have. I got a lot of stuff I gotta think about, but this has been a long episode for us.
It
An
has.
hour and 20.
We're closing in on an hour and a half. So I think we'll call it there.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's been a solid episode.
I agree. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us both on our socials. Leave some comments. Engage with the video. The likes really do help a lot. And let us know if you like this content, if you like this style, if we should do market updates every week, if I should never talk about it again. Like any ideas, we're totally open to them. Join the Discord. And let us know. There's a channel in the Discord where you can comment all things the collective, but you could also put it as a comment. And then what was the juicy algorithm trick you were talking about for Apple and Spotify? Downloading the podcast? Saving the podcast?
Yeah, download the podcast. Yeah, just download
Yeah.
it. It gets us better ratings and such. Yeah, give us ratings on Apple Podcasts. Give us ratings on Spotify. Like and share. Also, don't listen to Collector. And if you don't like the market, we won't talk about it as much. But I think it should stay a part of it.
All right. Well, there you go.
That's my opinion.
Zack Mo, not listening to the people. I'm a man of the people. Let us know what you guys think of this week's episode. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you guys very, very much.
You only wear sweatpants on Friday.
Okay. That's all for me.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh boy, hold on. We got to go out of here. Okay, let's try it again.
Boy.
Ready? Bye.
Bye.